left in this segment. Let's talk a little bit about going forward for the Benjamin Russell Wildcats. It's a new look offense. They lose a longtime starter at quarterback in Brian Horn. Little bit different look, little bit different offense now. A lot more ground oriented.
Yeah, and
that's where they are.
And according to Brett and Randy, who always do a fantastic job of calling the game for Benjamin Russell, BRHS showed some new formations tonight that they hadn't even seen before. Mm-hmm. So I think Coach Horn will continue to do things like that. Look, he's a guy that's always been rooted in defense, controlling the clock, controlling the ground game, and I think that's what Benjamin Russell's getting back to. They're just very tough. Defensively, again, listening to the call from Randy and Brett, it just sounds like the Wildcats have athletes everywhere. They play very, very smart, which is another trademark of a Coach Horn coach team. So I think Benjamin Russell's going to be in there until the end. They're certainly going to be a threat in 6A.
Have you seen an update on Opelika and Auburn yet?
I have not. I've been looking for it. Last I saw, Opelika was up 20-17. This is kind of big news because it was 20-3. Auburn has made a furious comeback. Again, Auburn lost last week to Gaston City. I don't think anybody really saw that coming. This is a team that started out being very highly ranked. Love Opelika's quarterback. He was,
what was that,
fabulous
final, Daniel? Final. It's a final score on Twitter that we're hearing 20-17 Opelika. So that's an 0-2 start for Auburn.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, this Auburn team was in the state championship game last year. So they had Rashawn Evans, of course, last year has moved on to college. They had some other guys that have moved on as well, but they've still got a loaded team. I think that they'll get turned around. They're still going to be a viable threat in 7A, there's no doubt. But, I mean, they're going to have to get better.
Well, it's a little bit of a different start. We saw Prattville get off to a really rough start last year and then kind of turn it on towards the end of the year. So we'll see what the Auburn Baby Tigers can do as we go forward in this too. But in the meantime, you got Opelika picking up where they left off.
Yeah, they've got a fabulous quarterback. Like I mentioned, they've got a solid running game. They've got an incredible, unbelievable defensive line. Mm-hmm. And they are going to wreak havoc all over 6A, no doubt about it. One other quick note, just saw an update that Hoover is now trailing Colquitt County 28-14. So Hoover is destined for an 0-2 start. Bob Jones, who was victorious tonight 28-7, they'll probably be your new number one team in 7A.
Wow. And that's an 0-2 start. And here's the thing. I'm going to spring this on Josh Beam when we get him on a little bit later from AL.com. When was the last time Hoover started a season 0-2?
I mean,
when was the last time?
Has it ever happened?
He'd need an abacus to figure that out.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's ever happened. But here's the other thing. I mean, do not count Hoover out of this thing. I mean, they've played two really good teams, and they've played one that has a former coach that certainly has a little bit of a grudge. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. They still hadn't played a team from Alabama yet, so I wouldn't get too worried if I were Hoover.
Let's take a break. We're going to come back and go statewide here on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show, coming right up.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing, LLC. We are your dealer for Nature's Miracle state-of-the-art water filtration systems, providing sales and installation of systems for your whole house or under sink. Join our Diamond Club and enjoy many benefits and services while saving money and getting priority service scheduling. We offer financing, and our services include a 1-year satisfaction guarantee. All our technicians are trained, background tested, drug screened, and wear photo IDs to ensure your safety and peace of mind. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing, LLC today.
Advanced Heating and Air is East Central Alabama's certified train comfort specialist. That means the pros at Advanced make you the focus with superior service on all brands, 24-hour availability, and in most cases, same-day response. Advanced Heating and Air is exclusive with Train Heating and Air products that deliver the longest reliability and great energy efficiency with an amazing 0% 60-month financing package on all new Train products. The best service contacts in the region, and all pricing is upfront so you have no surprises. Advanced Heating and Air, where your comfort is our number one concern.
There's a world of difference between a and a. And that's why you have to trust the best when it comes to your vehicle's care. The difference is TNS Automotive. From computer analysis to brakes, shocks, and struts, coolant flushes, tune-ups, air conditioning, even a major engine overhaul or replacement. TNS Automotive stands behind their work. They guarantee it. Count on TNS Automotive for all of your vehicle care and service needs. Call 256-329-9423. TNS Automotive, 141 Lee Street in Alexander City.
Hey, Jerry, Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you. The only thing getting trimmed around here are property values.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you?
Where you going? The nail salon's the other way.
Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
Get your SRN 225 trimmer at Satterfield's, Highway 280, Alexander City.
Times change, but what Alabama banks on never changes. In good times or difficult times, people in Alabama know they can bank on community ties, common history, strong relationships, and trusted experience. That's why for over 110 years, Tallapoosa County has banked with Alliant. Log on to AlliantBank.com or come by one of our convenient locations and experience the same friendly service. Alliant, a century of banking on Alabama. Alliant Bank, a division of U.S. AmeriBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Patterson Truck Parts has expanded. We have 7 bays, an overhead crane, and truck lifts. We have also expanded our parts department, offering everything you need. We offer major and minor repairs on all diesel trucks and trailers, 24-hour road service, computer engine analysis, AC repair and service, all-wheel alignment, welding, and so much more. Come by Patterson Truck Parts, check out our new building, and visit our friendly staff and the most experienced crew in the business today. Patterson Truck Parts, Radio Road, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City.
Amtech is proud to be part of the Alexander City area. Amtech understands the importance of education, athletics, and teamwork. Support from friends, family, classmates, and faculty play a big part of success on the field. Amtech wishes the Wildcats best of luck this year, not only in the games, but in all of your academic achievements as well. Good luck, BRHS athletes, coaches, band members, cheerleaders, faculty, and students from Amtech.
Some people think Allstate only protects your car. Here's the truth. Allstate can also protect your home or apartment, as well as your boat, motorcycle, RV, and snowmobile, and even your retirement and your life. Not many insurance companies can say that, but Allstate can.
For more information about how to bundle and save, you can contact Bland Insurance Group either by phone at 256-392-9244, or you can visit us on Facebook or our website at blandinsuranceGroup.com.
Welcome back to this final quick segment of the Central Alabama Community College First Quarter Show, brought to you by Central Alabama Community College, with campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Talladega. Central to you, central to your success. It's Jay and Luke here on a Friday night. We're about 45 seconds, Luke, from taking this thing statewide across the network, and a great night here in Central Alabama. Big win tonight for the Benjamin Russell Wildcats.
Huge win for Benjamin Russell, and a quick shout out to Buddy Anderson of Vestavia Hills. He ties the state record for wins in the state of Alabama with 309 with their victory tonight.
That's right, and a lot of kind of coaching news going on too. We're going to talk to Jackie O'Neill from Reeltown later on in the season, who 26th and final season at Reeltown. What a great story there, and we'll get into that more later on this season.
And Helena, brand new school, brand new team, first victory in their first game.
There you go. Hey, that's one way to get it started. All right, we've got about 20 radio stations across the state that we're getting ready to throw it to here in about 10 seconds as we take this thing statewide across the network. It's about to get real busy here. It's time for the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Here we go.
From the AHSAA Radio Network, this is the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show, heard on great radio stations all over the state of Alabama and seen on the Alabama Cable Network, Channel 80 on Charter Communications, with all the scores, highlights, and reports from around the state. Powered by LMG. Brought to you by River Region Sports Fields, the Auburn Opelika Tourism Bureau, Olivia's Cabinet Design, a division of Continental Roofing, Russell Do It and Building Supply Centers, and by Baumhauer's Restaurant. Legendary food, legendary fun. Now, let's get you up to date on Alabama's favorite Friday pastime, high school football. It's time for the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show on the AHSAA Radio Network.
To the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. It's Jeffcoat and Luke Robinson here with you on this Friday night, the first full Friday night of high school football action across the state of Alabama. And What a week. We've already got a lot to talk about and some historic things going on here in these first couple of weeks. We've got a great lineup of guests for you. I'm going to give those to you real quick. Josh Beam will join us from AL.com. We'll talk to Brian Neese up in Huntsville with The Zone. He'll tell us about possibly the new #1 team in 7A. We'll talk to Buddy Johnson from WAOQ. Had a great game, Brantley and Luverne last night. Clark Stewart with our game of the week this week, Foley and Fairhope. And you talk about massive matchups. There's one for you right there. And, of course, we'll talk to our good buddy Jeremy Smith, who joins us for the first time this year. He's got Thomasville Demopolis over in West Alabama. And we'll bounce around to all corners of the state tonight, all across the AHSAA radio network if you're listening to us on radio, or you may be joining us on the Alabama Cable Network on Charter Communications across the state. We're happy that you're here with us. And for a lot of people, it's their first time joining us this year, Luke, and it's your first time joining us, so welcome in.
So happy to be here. I loved doing it last year and can't wait to do it for many more.
History being made. Let's start last week because you can't talk about this week until you talk about last week. Last week, the state's longest winning streak at 30 games snapped. The Hoover Bucks go down to Miami Central. You're not thinking much about that until they take on Colquitt in Georgia tonight, take on Colquitt County and Rush Probst. Hoover is 0-2.
They're 0-2 right now. It's 35-14. Last week against Miami Central, they give up a score pretty late, and they end up losing that ball game to snap their 30-game winning streak. Now they've got a 2-game losing streak, which must feel like a 600-game losing streak if you're a Hoover Buccaneers fan. You're not used to losing at all, much less 2 in a row.
And, you mentioned this before we came on the air here statewide, but maybe looking at a brand new #1 in 7A for the first time in how long?
Well, the first time ever, I guess, is the only other #1 there's ever been in 7A. But I don't remember the last time Hoover wasn't right there at #1.
And here's another note for you to consider.
In 6A.
Hoover is going to start the season 0-2. The Auburn Tigers are going to start the season 0-2. Opelika getting a big win tonight also.
Opelika getting a huge win, and both state championship participants combining for 0-4. That's pretty crazy in its own right. Last week, Viger was in a jamboree game that was cut short due to fireworks in the stadium, and they had more fireworks tonight as they barely lose to McGill-Tulane, who's #3 in 7A. But as we talked about, Viger always has some talented players. They've got Desharius Flowers, the running back committed to Alabama, but he got hurt tonight.
Wow. All right, let's go ahead and get you some scores. It's time for our first of the night, Scores on the Fours.
Getting you the scores faster. It's Scores on the Fours.
All right, our Scores on the Fours this year is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. For menu items or for locations, visit baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun, and we start with the Thursday night recap, Luke.
Let's start in 7A. Davidson 44, Mary Montgomery 21. It was Huntsville narrowly escaping Mountain Brook 22-21. James Clemens 37, Athens 30. Moving down to 6A, Albertville 44, Grissom 24. Chilton County 33, Jemison nothing. East Limestone 42, West Limestone nothing. Jackson 34, Clark County 24. Park Crossing, Brand New School 20, Sidney Lanier 6. Southside of Gadsden 37, Hoax Bluff 10. Woodlawn 42, Tarrant 38. And then in 5A, it was Lawrence County 26, East Lawrence nothing.
In 4A, Brooks defeats Sheffield 37-13. It was Priceville over West Morgan 44-0. In 3A, Sandrock over Galesville 43-14. Susan Moore beats West End Walnut Grove 28-27. Winfield over Carbon Hill 27-6. In other scores from last night, Reeltown, a big rivalry win over Dadeville 7-0 in Class 2A. Class 1A, Brantley defeats Luverne 32-12. Marengo over Choctaw County 41-6. Milry over Southern Choctaw 42-36. Wadley defeats Horseshoe Bend 22-20. And in AHSAA action from Thursday night, Restoration Academy defeats Tuscaloosa Academy 38-31. And it was Bessemer Academy over Marengo Academy 30-13. That's your Thursday night recap, and Scores on the Fours is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. Visit baumhauers.com for locations, legendary food, legendary fun. We're going to step aside, come back, and talk to AL.com's Josh Bean right after this on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show.
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
No, 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 wrong! Bring it in, guys! Take a knee! Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola gonna give real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes the snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero!
Take a lap! Coke Zero! Real Coke taste! 0 calories!
The communities of Auburn and Opelika are proud to be hosting the Alabama High School State Football Championships this December. Sponsored by the Auburn-Opelika Tourism Bureau, Auburn University Athletics, the cities of Auburn and Opelika, and Uncle Bob's Self Storage. This year's Super 7 will be at beautiful Jordan-Hare Stadium, December 3rd through the 5th. Log on to aotourism.com/Super7 today to make hotel reservations, buy tickets to the games, and find out everything you need to know about the best high school football Alabama has to offer.
You know Continental Roofing because of the thousands of satisfied roofing customers. But did you know Continental is your source for kitchen and bath renovations and for construction repairs? So whether you're looking for that dream kitchen, or you need that rotten chimney repaired, or the outdoor kitchen, call us today. Short on cash? No worries. Ask us about 6 months same as cash. Several financing options available. For quality, value, and superior customer service, Continental Roofing is on top of it.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store. Say, where have you been? I've been looking for you.
Well, Box, I've been at the job site measuring for some new windows and doors.
Oh, you mean the website?
No, I mean the job site where the house is actually under construction.
Oh, we could never actually leave the store and go to a job site.
That makes you a little short on service, doesn't it?
Service, free delivery, and price match guarantee. 9 locations serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jeffcoat, Luke Robinson, along for a Friday night and a busy one, as we're joined by Josh Bean from the Alabama Media Group, which publishes the state's 3 largest newspapers, and AL.com, Prep Sports Managing Editor. Josh, how are you tonight?
Doing great, guys.
Good. Let's talk. I mean, first of all, I guess it's you might have to break out an abacus or something. Have you bothered to look up the last time the Hoover Bucks were 0-2 to start a season?
Yeah, I think it was 1994, which I believe is the first year that we were actually calling them Hoover. That was right after they had finished their run as Berry High School. So it's been a long time, almost 20 years.
Wow.
You know, that's a talented team, and obviously this early part of the schedule has been very challenging. But I don't think any of us thought that we were going to see them start 0-2.
How about Buddy Anderson tonight for Vestavia? Gets a big win, number 309 in his career, which makes him tied with Walden Tucker, formerly of Fayette County, for most in state history.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. It doesn't happen every day that a guy can win 300 games like, you know, he got that last year, ties it this year. You know, perhaps most amazingly about Buddy is that he's done it all at one school. You know, every victory that he has had has been there at Vestavia Hills. You know, in fact, before he became the head coach there, he was an assistant there. So I don't think the school has ever been open when he wasn't on the staff there. It's a pretty amazing run that he's had, and now he's got 309 wins. He'll go for the all-time record next week.
Well, Josh, I'm from, I went to high school in Helena at Indian Springs High School. No football team for me, but Helena's got a new high school. They win their first game tonight.
Yeah, you know, to play in Shelby County, a program that frankly has struggled a little bit the last few years. But yeah, interesting in that game. They had a little situation where some of the transformer blew, some of the lights went out, but not all of them. They were able to get the game in. I think it was about midway through the fourth quarter when that happened. But really cool for those folks in Helena. Not only do they get a new school and a new program and all of that kind of stuff going, but they get a win in their first time out. That doesn't happen every night either.
Josh, let me ask you about the 7A classification again. The Auburn Tigers, speaking of 0-2 starts, the Auburn Tigers fall tonight to Opelika to start their season at 0-2. How much of a surprise is that? Auburn lost a lot of talent last year.
Yeah, and, let's be honest, this was a team that they have also had a tough schedule here early. They played Gaston City, they play Opelika tonight in a huge game for everybody in those towns. So, I don't think Hoover or Auburn is really in panic mode. They played good teams. They've learned some stuff about themselves. I think Hoover did change quarterbacks tonight, and the backup who came in got hurt. So we'll have to see how that works out. But in Auburn's case, they played good people, and it's not like they've been blown out. They've been competitive in these two games. So there's a lot of football to be played. They just, they need to get back on a good footing. They need a win or two. But yeah, it is a little surprising to see Auburn and Hoover 0-2. I don't know if you could have made that bet in Vegas, but if you could, you probably could have made a lot of money off of it.
Hey, Josh, before we let you go, is there anything that sticks out to you looking ahead to next week?
Well, tonight, Saraland beat Daphne on the road at Daphne. I think right now, looking around, Saraland, as far as they're a little bit of a surprise. I know it was a jamboree last week, but they beat Jackson in a jamboree last week, and I think we saw that and thought, they made it to the semifinals last year in 5A. How good can they be? We'll see when they go to Daphne. They go to Daphne tonight, win on the road. I think that's really a team to keep your eye on right now.
Josh Bean, thank you so much from AL.com. Of course, he has the best blog on high school football. If you've never seen it, you need to go check it out. He joins us on the Olivia's Cabinet Design Hotline tonight, right here on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. It's time to get to your 7A scores. Let's take a look at your next scores on the 4s.
Getting you the scores now. It's Scores on the 4s.
Okay, let's start with Hoover dropping one to Colquitt County 35-14. The number one team in 7A is now 0-2. Meanwhile, Bob Jones at number 2, they will probably move up this week. They win tonight 28-7 over Decatur. McGill-Tulane squeaks one out against Viger. We talked about this earlier, 17-14. Spain Park at number 4, 28. Hueytown 21. So Spain Park last week they win 5-3. Tonight they finally put some more points on the board. Central Phoenix City 48. Harris County of Georgia 43. Foley, they go down tonight to Fairhope 44-34. Vestavia Hills wins 17-7, giving Buddy Anderson that 309th win. And number 9 Gadsden City 48. Oxford 28. Meanwhile, Auburn at number 10 drops to 0-2, 20-17 after losing to Opelika.
Yeah, big loss there for the Auburn Tigers, a big win for the Opelika Bulldogs there tonight. And again, Hoover and Auburn, the two state championship game participants from last year 6A, and of course this year both in 7A, starting out the season 0-2. Scores on the 4s has a brand new sponsor this year. It's Baumhauer's Restaurants. For locations or menu information, visit Baumhauers.com. Baumhauer's Restaurants, legendary food, legendary fun. I don't know if you've ever had the Hot Bama Brown, but I'll wrestle you for one of those. Those are outstanding. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Brian Neese, who called a game tonight for what could be the new number one team in 7A, Bob Jones. They played Decatur tonight. We'll talk about it coming up with Brian Neese from 97.7 The Zone in the Huntsville market right after this local break here on the AHSAA Radio Network.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Lake Martin Storm Shelters can keep you safe from the storm. We offer a variety of underground fiberglass storm shelters available in 3 different sizes, or the double-hulled underground polymer shelter with a heavy-duty all-aluminum door and frame for extra security. Plus, we have several models of above-ground steel safe rooms and community shelters that can be installed in your home, garage, or place of business to keep you safe from the storm.
Lake Martin Storm Shelters, a shelter in the storm.
Patterson Truck Parts has expanded. We have 7 bays, an overhead crane, and truck lifts. We have also expanded our parts department, offering everything you need. We offer major and minor repairs on all diesel trucks and trailers, 24-hour road service, computer engine analysis, AC repair and service, all-wheel alignment, welding, and so much more. Come by Patterson Truck Parts, check out our new building, and visit our friendly staff and the most experienced crew in the business today. Patterson Truck Parts, Radio Road, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City.
Football, tailgating, and an award-winning vehicle from Bice Motors in Alex City. You can't beat this time of year.
Get in the game and score big!
The summer clearance event continues, and all 24 teams have to go.
Coach, they don't know the play.
I told them twice.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
Buy it at Bice!
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
There's a world of difference between a and a. And that's why you have to trust the best when it comes to your vehicle's care. The difference is TNS Automotive. From computer analysis to brakes, shocks, and struts, coolant flushes, tune-ups, air conditioning, even a major engine overhaul or replacement. TNS Automotive stands behind their work. They guarantee it. Count on TNS Automotive for all of your vehicle care and service needs. Call 256-329-9423. TNS Automotive, 141 Lee Street in Alexander City.
The AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jay and Luke along for this Friday night. Officially week 2 here of the high school football season in the state of Alabama. And joining us right now on the Olivia's Cabinet Design Hotline, Olivia's Cabinet Design, the all-new division of Continental Roofing, now featuring an exclusive line of well-born cabinetry, is a brand new affiliate for us, 97.7 The Zone, Luke, up in the Huntsville market, and Brian Neese, who called the game tonight, possibly for the brand new #1 team in 7A, Bob Jones, as they took on Decatur. Brian, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Very good, very good. Tell us about this Bob Jones team that you watched tonight.
Well, they're a fast team. They've got a lot of speed offensively and defensively. They run the spread offense and like to swing it out to their skill guys and get the speed out in the open. And defensively, the secondary is the strength of the team. Got a couple of guys that already have some D1 offers, so it's a pretty talented team. One of the more talented teams that Bob Jones has had the last couple of years. Really, the skill positions are the strength of the team. I think if you look where does Bob Jones need the most work and maybe improve the most, it would probably be offensive and defensive lines. But overall, this is a really good Bob Jones team.
All right, take your Bob Jones glasses off for just 1 second here. Do you think this looks like a #1 team in 7A? Do you think they could win the state championship?
Not yet. No, I don't. I mean, this team has a lot of work to do, and I think Kevin Rose, the head coach, would tell you that in a heartbeat. They turned the ball over a couple times tonight in the Jamboree game last week. A couple of inexcusable penalties that extended drives last week, and then saw some penalties pop up again tonight. It's week 1. like Coach Rose said, most of the teams improve the most from week 1 to week 2, and so that's what he's looking for his team is to improve mightily to week 2. And do I think they're the number 1 team? Well, they may be, but they've got a lot of work to do if they want to be holding that trophy at the end of the year.
Brian, you mentioned week 1 to week 2. What's next up for Bob Jones?
Well, it's crosstown rival, James Clemens, and they're an improving football team. They get better all the time, and Bob Jones has handled them pretty handily over the last couple of years, but they're an improved football team. They want to beat Bob Jones, and they'll give the Patriots their best game next week. I think Bob Jones, if you put a line on it, Bob Jones would be favored, but it's a game where there's going to be a lot of emotion, and that's one thing that really Bob Jones will have to keep in check because penalties have been an issue in the Jamboree and then again tonight, so they'll have to keep those emotions in check next week.
Brian Neese joining us tonight from 97.7 The Zone up in Huntsville. Brian, best of luck to you and Bob Jones the rest of the way, and I'm sure we'll be checking in again as the season goes along.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, and have enjoyed listening so far. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Brian Neese joining us from 97.7 The Zone in Huntsville on the Olivia's Cabinet Design Hotline. And, again, what may be the new number 1 team in Class 7A.
I think they will be, and I think they should be. Maybe if you don't want to vote Bob Jones number 1, okay, that's fine. But I think you got to vote somebody else number 1.
Yep.
You can't keep Hoover there at 0-2.
Yeah. And it's going to be, it's going to be an interesting season now, and I think what happens now, and even though, and look, everybody's made the point. Josh Beam made that point too. Hoover has not been just, taking on a couple of random 6A teams. They've taken on Miami Central. They've taken on Colquitt County and Rush Probst. It's not like they've been just running around playing no names. But at the same time, I think right now, if you're one of those teams that thinks you can compete at the 7A level, you're looking at that and going, hey, it's wide open.
This may be a good thing for Hoover in the end, though, is to have a little slice of humble pie for a minute and maybe back up to get a running start for the state playoffs. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what matters in the end, and nobody doubts that Hoover's going to make the playoffs. They will make the playoffs. They could be a very high seed in the playoffs. I think they will be. But they may need to come down a notch, and I think these 2 games may have done that, and that'll help them propel them for another run at a state championship. But look, they're going to probably be in Auburn. I'm not going so far as to say Hoover won't be playing for a state championship. I think they will be.
Well, we got to step aside right now and get you some more scores. It is time now for your okay. Well, I'm sorry. We're going scores on the 4s right now. Let's do it.
Getting you the scores faster. It's Scores on the 4s.
Okay, let's go to 6A scores on the 4s. Spanish Fort, another big win tonight, 49-20 over Gulf Shores in the California Dreaming Bowl. Clay Chalkville, 46, Minor, 14. Number 3, Shades Valley, 34, Bessemer City, 14. Number 4, Carver Montgomery, 43, Lee Montgomery in 7A, 0. Opelika, as we mentioned earlier, they get a big win, 20-17 over Auburn. Opelika is the 5th-ranked team in 6A. Number 6 in 6A is Daphne. They lose tonight, 28-35 against Saraland. Number 7, Blunt faces Williamson. We don't have a score quite yet. Number 8, Florence is off tonight. Number 9, Muscle Shoals takes on Hazel Green. We don't have a score there. And as we mentioned earlier, Bob Jones defeats Decatur 28-7. Decatur number 10 in 6A. So Bob Jones, we really believe they might move up to number 1. I want to go back to this Shades Valley game for just one second. That team is loaded, if you ask me. The quarterback, Louie, I think he's fabulous. Darren Payne, one of the most highly regarded defensive tackles in the country. But the guy that I'm crazy about is Keith Mixon. All he does is score touchdowns. He is all over the field. This guy is committed to Mississippi State. I hate that he's going to be getting out of the state of Alabama. Regardless, I know he's SEC caliber without a doubt in my mind. I know he had 2 touchdowns earlier on in the evening. I don't know how many he ended up with, but that's a kid to keep an eye on.
Spanish Fort, of course, now with the loss by Hoover last week, they have the longest winning streak in the state of Alabama. Let's step aside for this network break. We'll be right back.
The communities of Auburn and Opelika are proud to be hosting the Alabama High School State Football Championships this December. Sponsored by the Auburn-Opelika Tourism Bureau, Auburn University Athletics, the cities of Auburn and Opelika, and Uncle Bob's Self-Storage. This year's Super 7 will be at beautiful Jordan-Hare Stadium December 3rd through the 5th. Log on to aotourism.com/Super7 today to make hotel reservations, buy tickets to the games, and find out everything you need to know about the best high school football Alabama has to offer.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service athletic field company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire process of making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884, riverregionsportsfields.com.
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around.
That's why we present people with options, to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
The new Mays record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
Where there's action, there's Encore. Professional. Responsive. Dedicated. Encore Rehabilitation.
With over 125 years as North America's leading shingle manufacturer, GAF has selected Continental Roofing for Master Elite status. Only 3% of all roofing companies in the United States can qualify for this prestigious certification. It means Continental Roofing can offer the best roofing system warranty available anywhere. With so many roofing companies that have come and gone, look to Continental Roofing to provide total peace of mind with your next roof. For quality, value, and superior customer service, Continental Roofing is on top of it.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. It's Jay and Luke here on a Friday night as we discuss some of the goings-on here in high school football. It's been a busy, busy night and a busy couple of weeks here of high school football. One note that we did pick up earlier from Archangel Radio down in the Mobile area, McGill-Tulane tonight. Of course, they had a comeback win, big one there. Their starting quarterback, Bubba Thompson, was injured in the second quarter of that win, and it was their backup, Paris Chambers, that actually led them to the win there. So a big one for McGill-Tulane.
I know Hoover had a big injury tonight. I know that Desharius Flowers, I talked about it earlier, the running back for Viger, he was also nicked up in that game. I don't think it was anything too serious, but already some pretty big injuries across the state.
Yeah, lots of things going on, lots of big games. I mentioned right before the break, Spanish Fort now with the longest winning streak in the state. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, 26 maybe. 26 games for Spanish Fort as they get a win over Gulf Shores tonight, 49-20. So Spanish Fort, that's a team that moves up from 5A and instantly becomes the preseason number one in 6A.
You know what? Who would you take right now in a game, Spanish Fort versus Hoover? I'd probably favor Spanish Fort.
Yeah, you would have to at least consider it, wouldn't you?
And I love Hoover, don't get me wrong. They fantastic tradition, everything. They have been a part of just about every championship for the last 12, 15 years, it seems like. They've got a fantastic defense. Christian Bell, Darrell Williams, and Jeremiah Moon all there in the linebacker and core. Fabulous players, no doubt about it.
Some really good scores that we've been able to dig up here during the breaks as well.
How about this? Chelsea defeats Briarwood 23-22. That snaps a 5-game losing streak by Chelsea to Briarwood. Lamar County 46, Brilliant 20. Marion County 13, Hackleburg 12. St. James 27, Elmore County 7. Hartsville 35, Brewer 14. Charles Henderson 38, Daleville 6. Satsuma 28, BC Rain 26. Talked about it earlier, Helena, in their first game ever, they get a win 30-15 over Shelby County. Hewitt Trussville 30, Gardendale 24, Verbena 14, Thorsby 6, and Pelham 23, Thompson 19. Thompson had a 19-8 lead in that ball game, I believe, and Pelham comes all the way back to get the big win.
And the big overtime game going on. What's the latest there? What do we have?
The last I heard, Tanner was in the middle of overtime, going to overtime, tied at 50. Tanner and Colbert County. Colbert County is number 6 in 3A. Tanner is number 1 in 2A. So an absolute classic there between Tanner and Colbert County.
And this is a game that we're going to talk about a little more in depth a little bit later on with one of our reporters out there in the field, Clark Stewart. But the game of the night tonight, to me, when you look around the different classifications, to me tonight had to be Foley and Fairhope in the 7A classification, a top 10 matchup there, and Fairhope gets a big win, a high-scoring game, 44-34.
Yeah, very high-scoring game. You know that everybody had to be entertained there. Whenever you're going to a game in Mobile, you're going to be entertained. There are going to be athletes everywhere.
Yeah, and Foley and Fairhope, no exception to that, as those two teams get going. So when you look around the state right now, obviously Spanish Fort sort of separating themselves. Bob Jones, who we just talked to Brian Neese a few minutes ago, called their game tonight. Bob Jones maybe starting to separate themselves, although Brian felt like this team still had a little ways to go.
And again, I think that's probably a good thing for Bob Jones to not get too big of a head. I mean, look, it's one thing for Hoover to be ranked number 1. They're used to it. They understand it. For Bob Jones, it would be kind of a new thing. So I think it may be good for them to hover around 2, 3, 4, 5 somewhere for the rest of the season. But I believe they will get bumped up to number 1. McGill-Tulane will probably get some looks. Central Phoenix City, do not sleep on that team. Coach Jamie Dubose, I've talked to him extensively. He is a fantastic guy, fantastic coach. He's going to have that program in the thick of things come the 1st of December.
And in 6A, the Opelika Bulldogs get a huge win tonight over cross county rival, I guess, not cross town, but they get a big win over the Auburn Tigers, 20-17. That's one that Opelika will certainly cherish as they go forward, getting a win over Auburn. Auburn's 0-2, Hoover's 0-2. Your 2 state championship contenders from 6A last year, both 0-2 to start their campaign in 7A. We have got to get to some more scores right now. Here comes Scores on the 4s.
Getting you the scores now. It's Scores on the 4s.
Let's move over to 5A, where it's St. Paul's defeating D'Iberville of Mississippi 38-17. Number 2, Pleasant Grove 14, Centerpoint 12. That's in the 4th quarter. Viger, they're number 3 in 5A. They go down tonight to McGill-Tulane 17-14. Number 4, Central of Clay County loses to Benjamin Russell 23-15. Number 5, Jackson, they defeat Clark County 34-24. That was last night. Number 6, Charles Henderson 38. Daleville 6. Number 7, J.O. Johnson 22. Lee of Huntsville 3. Number 8, Gunnersville in a barn burner. They win 46-41 over North Jackson. Number 9, Etowah goes down tonight to Coleman 35-8. And number 10, Dora, they also lose, this time to Mortimer Jordan 38-31.
So there are your updates there in 5A, and I know we've got some other scores going on, but we've still got, at least at the last update, we heard an overtime game going on as well.
I'm trying to get updates on that one right now. I mean, it's tied at 50 going to overtime. I don't believe I've ever heard of that.
No, that's 100 points with still more football to play, so certainly something to watch there.
And it was a blocked extra point that took it into the overtime.
Sent it to the overtime period. Scores on the 4s is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. For menus or locations, check them out at baumhauers.com. Baumhauer's Restaurants, legendary food, legendary fun. We are going to step aside, and then when we come back, we'll be joined by Buddy Johnson from WAOQ, Brantley and Luverne. He called that game last night. We'll talk a little bit about that. We talked a lot about Luverne last year, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that with Buddy Johnson. That's coming up right after this local break here on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Stay
The Alex City Parks and Rec Department serves the residents of Alexander City with quality facilities and programs designed to positively affect the lives of the citizens. From youth sports programs to adult activities and our senior center, the Alex City Parks and Rec offers services for all ages. The Cooper Rec Center, Lake Winds Golf Course, and the Senior Activity Center are just some of the great features the Alex City Parks and Rec Department provides for the people of Alex City. For more information on any of our programs, visit acpr.me or call 256-329-6736.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
Over the years, Lake Martin Community Hospital has served the Lake Martin area with a personal touch and grown to better serve your needs, including MRI services, a community fitness facility, wellness center, home health services, hospice program, full-service pharmacy, family medical center, and Lake Martin Community Hospital's emergency room is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. That's the personal touch that makes the difference at Lake Martin Community Hospital in Dadeville.
For over 30 years, Lackey's Floor Covering has been the name you can trust for premium name brand flooring. For 2 generations, Lackey's has made it easy to give your home that fresh look. Get better value without sacrificing on quality with names like Shaw's Carpet. No matter what room or style, we have the flooring you need with quality carpet, hardwood, and tile. Lackey's can consistently quote and install premium floors without busting your wallet. Let Lackey's Floor Covering show you how easy it is to get that fresh look in your home.
This gal wrote, "I am obsessed with Zaxby's yummy fried pickles. Is that wrong?" Well, Lisa Campbell changed her profile picture. Ma has a saying, "A fried pickle a day keeps the cravings away." She is a wise woman.
Those pickles ain't gonna pick themselves.
Mean as a hornet, though.
It's fried pickle season. Lightly breaded, fried to perfection, served with ranch dressing. Enjoy 'em before the crop's gone. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Times change, but what Alabama banks on never changes. In good times or difficult times, people in Alabama know they can bank on community ties, common history, strong relationships, and trusted experience. That's why, for over 110 years, Tallapoosa County has banked with Alliant. Log on to AlliantBank.com or come by one of our convenient locations and experience the same friendly service. Alliant, a century of banking on Alabama. Alliant Bank, a division of U.S. Ameribank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jay and Luke on a Friday night, and we had planned to have Buddy Johnson on from WAOQ here to talk about the Brantley-Luverne game from last night. Buddy is traveling. He was calling another game tonight and kind of out of cell phone reach of us right now. So we're gonna switch things up a little bit and go ahead and get to our game of the week for this week. And our game of the week is brought to you by Russell Dewitt and Building Supply Centers. And joining us right now on the Olivia's Cabinet Design Hotline is Rusty Pygott, and he is with WHEP in Foley, Alabama, where they're traveling from Fairhope back to Foley tonight with our game of the week, Foley and Fairhope. Rusty, 44-34, Fairhope gets the win tonight over Foley, but a high-scoring, entertaining, sounds like an up-and-down kind of game.
Well, if you were a fan of offense, this would have been the game to come and see because it was an offensive shootout for sure. Both defenses almost phoned it in tonight. A great game by Fairhope's quarterback, Gray Jackson, had 4 touchdown passes, ran for 2 more on the way to putting Fairhope up 44-34 over the Lions.
Wow, impressive numbers. I know he had 230 yards last week. This is a guy that's making a name for himself. What year is Gray Jackson?
I'm hoping he's a senior for Foley's sake. I'm pretty sure he's a senior. Running back Kirksey also had a big night for Fairhope, a lot of big runs. Foley was in it, never really got all the way out of it. Both teams scored on each of their possessions in the first half. Fairhope got an onside kick that gave them an extra possession. They went up 35-20 at the half. The defense settled in a little bit after that. Foley came up with some big plays in the fourth quarter to bring it close, but just couldn't catch up with the powerful Pirate offense.
How did Tyler Cameron do for Foley tonight?
He did. He had a reasonably well. We got a little rain that started in the second half that kind of slowed the offenses down a little bit. He took a big lick right in the second quarter and had to leave the game momentarily. But he had a solid night, not quite as good as he had last week. Had one interception. I think that was the only turnover of the entire game. But a pretty decent night, but it was one where Foley's defense just couldn't stop Jackson and Kirksey and company for Fairhope. And by the same token, Fairhope's defense had a tough time with Foley, but they were able to pull it out with a 10-point win.
Rusty, I'm sorry, did you say a little rain in the second quarter slowed the offenses down to the tune of 78 points?
No, in the second half. We started getting some rain after halftime when it was 35-20. Fairhope picked up a score and then a field goal in the early fourth quarter. Foley picked up two scores late in the fourth quarter. Went for two there towards the end and to make it a 10-point game. But got to be impressed with Gray Jackson, the senior quarterback for the Fairhope Pirates, accounted for all 6 of the Pirate touchdowns tonight.
Rusty, what's next for Foley?
Foley plays Alma Bryant. We'll go on the road. This is Foley's 3rd road game in a row here to start the season. We'll go on the road to Alma Bryant next week. I believe Fairhope travels to play McGill in another. Both teams playing in this Region 1, the new 7A classification down here in South Alabama.
7A Region 1, that's a tough road to hoe down there.
Well, a tough guy. I've got 9 teams in our region down here, so you got 8 region games. 8 region games, 9 teams to make 4 spots in the playoffs. So Fairhope with an early advantage here with a victory over the Lions. But as we talked on air during our broadcast, it's just the second game of the season. A lot of games to go, so a lot of exciting high school football still in front of us here as we start off this 2014 season.
Should be a lot of fun. Rusty Pocket, thank you so much for the time.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it.
That's Rusty Pocket, WHEP, Foley, Alabama, joining us tonight. Part of Clark Stewart's staff down there. They do a great job covering the Foley Lions with our Game of the Week, brought to you by Russell Dewitt and Building Supply Centers. 7A Region 1, tough classification.
No doubt about it. And you know what? It's got to be tough for Foley. That's now 5 out of 6 times that Fairhope has defeated the Lions, so that's got to be tough for them. And that's the thing about high school football. You got to wait a whole nother year.
That's right. Time to get away and check some more scores. It's time now for Scores on the Fours.
Getting you the scores now. It's Scores on the Fours.
Okay, let's go to 4A, where Leeds defeats Trinity Presbyterian 48-20. Number 2, UMS Wright 47, Andalusia 17. Number 3, Dadeville. They get shut out last night by 2A Reeltown 7-0. Number 4, Strawn. They lose tonight 28-26 to a 3A team in Opp. Number 5, Aniana is destroyed by 6A Pinson Valley 42-0. So Aniana, the defending state champs, they go down as the number 5 ranked team in 4A. Sachs 41, Walter Wellborn 20. Number 7, Thomasville 18, Demopolis 14. Number 8, Deschler. They lose to Russellville 36-12 tonight. Number 9, Fayette County. They also lose 21-19 to Gordo. And number 10, Hamilton shuts out Sulligent 37-10. So a lot of losses along the 4A lines. And what's funny is not a lot of these losses were within the 4A ranks. They were either to somebody in a classification, 2 classifications below them, or maybe even a couple of classifications ahead of them.
Well, and that's the thing when you mix up the classifications, which that happens every few years. But now with the new 7A, you had more moving around of classifications than we've had in the past that we've gotten used to. So sometimes a 4A playing a 2A was actually last year it was a 4A and a 3A.
Right.
It's a little different this year, and it's probably going to take us a little bit of time to get used to it too. Scores on the Fours is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. For menus or locations, check out baumhauers.com. Baumhauer's Restaurants, legendary food, legendary fun. We are going to step aside, try to get Buddy Johnson again. We're going to update Tanner and Colbert County when we come back on the AHSAA Radio Network.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
You know Continental Roofing because of the thousands of satisfied roofing customers. But did you know Continental is your source for kitchen and bath renovations and for construction repairs? So whether you're looking for that dream kitchen, or you need that rotten chimney repaired, or the outdoor kitchen, call us today. Short on cash? No worries. Ask us about 6 months, same as cash. Several financing options available. For quality, value, and superior customer service, Continental Roofing is on top of it.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire process of making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884. RiverRegionSportsFields.com.
The communities of Auburn and Opelika are proud to be hosting the Alabama High School State Football Championships this December. Sponsored by the Auburn-Opelika Tourism Bureau, Auburn University Athletics, the cities of Auburn and Opelika, and Uncle Bob's Self-Storage. This year's Super 7 will be at beautiful Jordan-Hare Stadium December 3rd through the 5th. Log on to aotourism.com/Super7 today to make hotel reservations, buy tickets to the games, and find out everything you need to know about the best high school football Alabama has to offer.
At Cadence, we believe money should get out of the bank and into action, getting out into the world of business, for energy companies, the healthcare industry, legal and accounting firms, and for individuals, wealth management. When you find your Cadence in Alabama, you turn money into action. So join us and we'll work together to find your Cadence at Cadence Bank.
Member FDIC.
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. For another Friday night, it's Jay and Luke as we talk about some of these games going on in a wild game tonight with Tanner and Colbert County. Luke, and if you talk back and forth, blocked extra points, high scoring, 50-50 heading into overtime.
And it sounds like Colbert County pulled that one out 56-50. So Tanner, the number 1 team in 2A, goes down.
And, and what a great game, too. And it's like you mentioned, you go to a high school football game, you get 50-50. It's just back and forth, back and forth. And Tanner is a team that I think you and I called last year in Tuscaloosa, did we not?
We did. The Tanner Rattlers, and look, they'll be in Auburn this year, and then they'll probably be in Tuscaloosa the year after that. And Auburn, I mean, they're going to go back and forth because they're always very good. So, again, this is not a loss that you need to really worry about. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Tanner does stay at number 1.
Well, and that's a definite possibility when you look at 2A. Now they have Fife right behind them as Fife gets a win tonight over Geraldine. Washington County is back in there. GW Long. You've got Lynette. And I said this last week. Lynette could have a really good year this year. They get a 41-14 win over Notasulga. After that, Pickens County gets shut out tonight by Greensboro Public. Wow. So a big loss there for Pickens County. Cottonwood goes down to Geneva. You had Sweetwater started out their season last week 0-1, and they're off this week, and that's part of the staggered scheduling. And here's the best way I know to explain it. And for those of you who were not with us last week, and I know a lot of our affiliates, this is week 1 carrying the show because your high school football season is starting this week. But last week we had a chance to talk to Ron Ingram with the AHSAA about the staggered scheduling, the additional bye week, about the new 7A classification and all those things. And this is really the first year for that. But the way it works is this. The extra week was added a week sooner than we would normally start the high school football season here. You were allowed to play a meaningful game, a game that counted on your record that week, or you could play an exhibition game if you wanted to that week. You could be off that week. Either way, you've got to play 10 games in 11 weeks. So you're going to hear a lot more, this team has the night off, this team has the night off, this team has the night off. How does that affect anybody going forward, or is that just maybe a coach's preference?
It probably is just a coach's preference. I know my personal preference would be to have an off week probably in the middle of the season. You look at somebody like Benjamin Russell. I think they have decided to take their bye week right before the playoffs. That's a good move, too. The reason I would say the middle of the season is because what if you have momentum, okay, going into the playoffs? You don't want to have an off week and maybe possibly lose that momentum. You've seen it happen. Look, a bye week isn't always a good thing. Sometimes your team catches fire and you want to continue that momentum.
And teams get in that rhythm. You get in that rhythm of film review on Monday, the full pad scrimmage type practice on Tuesday, the put in the game plan Wednesday, the walkthrough Thursday. You get in that routine. Then all of a sudden you get the open date, you get the bye week, and you're out of that routine and you're doing something totally different.
Well, it's a lot like what you're seeing the trend being when people win the coin toss now. They want the football because they want to go out and set the pace. They want to set the tempo. They want to get the momentum. I think it's the same thing with bye weeks. It used to be the old adage was you love your bye weeks, and if you're playing somebody after a bye week, it's all this trouble. Really, I can make the argument that it's the other way around. I mean, yes, you want to rest, and the same thing would hold true for the bye week in the middle of the season. However, I think that I would rather take my bye week there, let everybody regroup, see where I am as a team, and then make changements and adjustments as needed. You also have a pretty good idea in the middle of the season then how the rest of your region is shaping up. Okay, and so maybe you can make some adjustments to take care of that. And you know what? You take your bye week at the end of the season, maybe you're not even in the playoffs. Then all of a sudden your season's just over early.
Season's over early. No extra practice for you there. All right, we got to step aside, and we're going to step aside and take a look at the 3A top 10 scores from tonight. It's time for our next edition of Scores on the Fours here on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show.
Getting you the scores faster. It's Scores on the Fours.
All right, let's start with your 3A top 10 with number 1 Madison Academy as they get a win tonight over Maplewood, Tennessee. That's a 2A team in Tennessee. 45-12 the final score. Madison Academy on top to even their record at 1-1. Number 2, TR Miller over Tallahassee tonight by a final of 21-10. TR Miller now 2-0 on the year. It was Piedmont coming off of that exciting Champions Challenge game with Dadeville last week. They go to 1-0 officially on the season with a 48-20 win over Cherokee County. Number 4, Dale County. Last update we heard, now the game had not ended. We did not have a final, but 48-14 was the last update we heard. Dale County on top, well on their way to a 2-0 start. Number 5, Walter Wellborn tonight is going to start their season at 0-1 as they go down to 4A Sacs. Final score there, Sacs 41, Walter Wellborn 20. We mentioned this earlier, what a fantastic game as Colbert County defeats Tanner tonight in overtime, 56-50. The final score, that's a battle of Colbert County, number 6 in 3A versus Tanner, the number 1 team in 2A. It was Pike County over Goshen tonight by a final score of 12-0. Number 8 Glencoe over Plainview, final 28-14. It was Midfield. They get shut out tonight by Winona, 21-0. And number 10 in the 3A classification, Lauderdale County, they lose tonight to Wilson. The final score there, 28-13. Scores on the Fours is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. For locations or menu information, visit baumhauers.com. Baumhauer's Restaurants, legendary food, legendary fun. We'll step aside, come back with more in just a moment here on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Hey, Jerry. Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you. The only thing getting trimmed around here are property values.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you?
Where you going? The nail salon's the other way.
Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
Get your SRN 225 trimmer at Satterfield's, Highway 280, Alexander City.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Lake Martin Storm Shelters can keep you safe from the storm. We offer a variety of underground fiberglass storm shelters available in 3 different sizes, or the double-hulled underground polymer shelter with a heavy-duty all-aluminum door and frame for extra security. Plus, we have several models of above-ground steel safe rooms and community shelters that can be installed in your home, garage, or place of business to keep you safe from the storm.
Lake Martin Storm Shelters, a shelter in the storm.
Football, tailgating, and an award-winning vehicle from Bice Motors in Alex City. You can't beat this time of year.
Get in the game and score big!
The summer clearance event continues, and all 24 teams have to go.
Coach, they don't know the play.
I told them twice.
Guaranteed lowest price. I will pay you the difference in price twice.
Buy it at Bice!
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jay and Luke, as we are just about to hit 11 o'clock here inside the studio. And what a great night of high school football it's been. We still got Jeremy Smith going to join us here in a few minutes on the Olivia's Cabinet Design Hotline. And we'll talk about some West Alabama scores and a couple of things that we probably ought to mention since it's the first show for many of our affiliates. So a lot of you are probably new to the show. I noticed a lot of new Facebook likes today. So I think a lot of people are just starting to pick that up. Our Facebook page, if you'll go to facebook.com, look up AHSAA Scoreboard Show or AHSAA Radio Network, you'll find us on there. We try to post a lot of scores through Facebook there throughout the night, and we ask you to do the same. Also, we are broadcast on the Alabama Cable Network on Charter Cable across the state, 550,000 households. If you have a video upload, if you go to a game and you take a video highlight with your phone, you want to upload that to Facebook, share it with us. We'd love to show those on across the Alabama Cable Network there as well. Of course, we talk to a lot of our affiliates through the radio stations throughout the season, and they act as our reporters across the state. Generally, in a Friday night, we'll do 220, 230 scores on any given Friday night. So we do want to welcome all of our new affiliates, and there's a number of them. So we'll talk about just a few of them here, and we'll talk about all of them as the season goes along. But new to to the radio station this year, or to the radio show this year. The Peach over in the Clanton area, 97.7 The Zone up in Huntsville, WINL over in West Alabama, which is part of the Dixie Country family, with WDXX in the Selma Montgomery area. That's a station that's 100,000 watts, a footprint that covers about 1.2 million people through Central and West Alabama there. So we want to welcome those new affiliates and some new sponsors too. Russell Dewitt and Building Supply Centers, Olivia's Cabinet Design, the all-new division of Continental Roofing, Baumhauer's Restaurant, which next week we're going to tape an interview with Bob Baumhauer that we're going to be using on the show. That's if you've never kind of talked to Bob or had a chance to do an interview with Bob, really entertaining guy. And he said the funniest thing to me one time. I said, so let's see, so you did 4 years with Brian and 8 years with Don Shula? He said, yeah. He goes, I spent my college years with Bear Bryant, my pro years with Don Shula. He said, just think how good I'd have been if I'd have got some coaching. So yeah, Bob's a funny guy, and so we'll enjoy that interview a lot as we go along. Here's some of the headlines so far for tonight. We'll kind of reset the top of the show. The Hoover Bucks, for the first time, we believe, since 1994, since their first year as Hoover, when they came off of the experience as Berry High School, are 0-2 to start a season.
Well, let me put it in perspective. I don't know exactly the year. I know John Parker Wilson was in elementary school last time they started 0-2. I just saw that tweet go across the wire, and I thought that was a good way for everybody to understand what this really means. Of course, John Parker Wilson spent a lot of time at Alabama. He graduated in 2008, so he was in elementary school the last time they were 0-2, whatever that tells you.
It's been a little while. And the other participant, the team that played Hoover for the 6A state championship last year in Tuscaloosa, the Auburn Tigers, a team with a lot of high expectations coming into this year, they also tonight have begun the season 0-2 after a 3-point loss to bitter rival Opelika.
And they lose Rashawn Evans, who was a 5-star kid last year. Fabulous player. I thought he was the best player on the field in the state championship game. They just couldn't get anything going offensively, and now they can't get a win. They start out 0-2.
And if you look at the top of the new 7A classification, Bob Jones is sitting right there at number 2, poised to move to number 1 if Hoover's going to drop, and we both agree that they probably will. McGill-Tulane will probably make their argument as well with a comeback win tonight behind their backup quarterback against Viger, who's a top 3 team in 5A. McGill-Tulane. Possibility to move up Spain Park, and like you mentioned, don't go to sleep on Central Phoenix City.
Definitely don't go to sleep on Central Phoenix City. In fact, Central Phoenix City, to me, is one of the most dangerous teams in 7A right now. I know they've got the athletes. They've got a junior cornerback named John Broussard, who's fabulous. They've got some other underclassmen for sure that will be highly, highly recruited.
Scores on the 4s. Let's do it right now.
Getting you the scores now. It's Scores on the 4s.
All right, Scores on the 4s. We'll check the 2A top 10, brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants, legendary food, legendary fun.
In an absolute classic, Colbert County of 3A defeats the number 1 team in 2A 56-50 in overtime. It was number 2 Fife 48, Geraldine 7. At number 3 Washington County 39, Linden 13. Number 4, GW Long, 61, Barber County, nothing. Number 5 in 2A, Lynette, 41, Notasulga, 14. Number 6, Pickens County goes down to Greensboro Public, 19-0. Number 7, Cottonwood, they lose to Geneva, 40-21. Number 8, Sweetwater, who starts out the season 0-1, they were off tonight. Number 9, Falkville, 48, versus Decatur Heritage Christian, 13. And number 10, Addison, they win tonight 26-20 over Vinemont. So a lot of losses in 2A too. We saw them in 4A, and now we're seeing them in 2A. Some real surprising scores in here. And probably the one that's most surprising is Tanner. Granted, they lose to the number 6 team in 3A, but still, Tanner losing 56-50. I didn't think I'd see Tanner giving up that many points.
Going up a classification for competition is nothing new for Tanner, and you're right. Anytime the Tanner Rattlers lose a game, it's a bit of a surprise there. We're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, Jeremy Smith with West Alabama Watchman is going to join us. He had a chance to catch a good rivalry game tonight with Thomasville and Demopolis. We'll talk to him about that game coming up in just a couple of minutes, right after this network break. We'll be right back with more of the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Scores on the 4s is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurant. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Hey, Box, we just helped a man who wanted to build a new deck.
Oh yeah? How'd you do that?
Well, he came in, made an appointment with one of our project engineers, which is free, by the way, walked him through the materials list and helped him with each step. Now he has a beautiful new deck, all at our low price guarantee.
Well, I just helped a guy that wanted to build a brand new deck.
Really? How?
I sent him over to aisle number 24, you know, the lumber aisle.
9 locations serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around?
That's why we present people with options, to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
The new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
With over 125 years as North America's leading shingle manufacturer, GAF has selected Continental Roofing for Master Elite status. Only 3% of all roofing companies in the United States can qualify for this prestigious certification. It means Continental Roofing can offer the best roofing system warranty available anywhere. With so many roofing companies that have come and gone, look to Continental Roofing to provide total peace of mind with your next roof. For quality, value, and superior customer service, Continental Roofing is on top of it.
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
The communities of Auburn and Opelika are proud to be hosting the Alabama High School State Football Championships this December. Sponsored by the Auburn-Opelika Tourism Bureau, Auburn University Athletics, the cities of Auburn and Opelika, and Uncle Bob's Self Storage. This year's Super 7 will be at beautiful Jordan-Hare Stadium December 3rd through the 5th. Log on to aotourism.com/Super7 today to make hotel reservations, buy tickets to the games, and find out everything you need to know about the best high school football Alabama has to offer.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jay and Luke on a Friday night as we have moved into the final 21 minutes of the program here. Week 2, but the first real full week of the AHSAA schedule across the state. And joining us right now from the West Alabama Watchman, also does some work with WSLY Radio in York, Alabama. Jeremy Smith joins us for his first appearance of this season. Jeremy, I trust you had a great off season and off to a good start here this year.
Yeah, guys, I'm excited to be back with y'all. I really enjoyed doing this last year. I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, kind of connecting all the corners of the state, keeping everybody informed on what's going on around the area.
Well, thank you very much. And you had a classic tonight. It's one of those games that you look forward to on the schedule for these two, but Thomasville defeats Demopolis tonight 18-14.
Yeah, really sloppy in a lot of ways. You know, Thomasville, I hate to say escaped it because they earned everything that they got, but you're looking at a team that it looked like they were going to be down 14-0 early. Their first 2 possessions go nowhere. They come out and they've got a punt. Both of those punt plays fall apart and result in massive losses on the play, and Demopolis comes away with great field position. They cash the first one in and go up 7-0. Looks like they're ready to cash the second one in, and then the penalty bug starts to bite Demopolis. They back up. They can't do anything with the possession. Trevor Wilson ends up with about 2:19 to go in the first quarter, scoots around the left side, breaks a handful of tackles, streaks down the sideline for 69 yards, cuts it to 7-6. And it really put Thomasville back in the game, gave them a lot of momentum. Byron Hosea with about 8:58 left in the second quarter. Byron Hosea is able to score from 5 yards out, puts Thomasville up 12-7. They played to a stalemate in the third quarter. It looked like Demopolis had actually taken the lead when J. Jaron Craig appeared to cross the plane of the goal line with the ball. Ball pops out right then. The referees ruled that he fumbled before he crossed the plane. Thomasville recovers it in the end zone and dodges a huge bullet. Later on, they're able to stop Demopolis on a fourth down conversion. Hosea scores from 24 yards out, puts them up 18-7. Demopolis kind of gets back into it with a 34-yard pass over the top of Seth Aiken that sets up a 1-yard touchdown run by quarterback Logan McVeigh. But time ran out. Thomasville was able to convert that last first down that allowed them to run the clock out. They're up 8 minute 18-14. Both teams fumbled 4 times and lost 2 of them. Probably the biggest difference for Demopolis, aside from the fact that they could only muster 170 yards of offense, was that they were penalized 10 times for 85 yards, and that really made a big difference in Jack Hankins. Thomasville team gets a win. But, guys, look at what they've done now. You got a team that ended last season on really kind of a bad stretch. They opened with a win over rival Sweetwater last week and a win over rival Demopolis this week, and now they're able to go into region play with those 2 big wins over arch rivals for them. That's got to be a big, big thing for Thomasville.
We talked about this last week. Thomasville's a team that's always dangerous. You always expect quality teams over in Thomasville. And this year, the kind of start they're off to, you're thinking now, you start to think, well, okay, how good could this season get?
Yeah, you really, and that region looks a lot different with Andalusia moving out of it. It's going to be a tough region, but if Thomasville can get the momentum going, it's really them and UMS Wright in that region. So, and Jack Hankins' bunch, they look good. I mean, defense does look really good. They played very well tonight. So I'm looking for big things for them. Demopolis got a lot of questions to answer going into next week. They've got to hit the road and go to Calera. And if you talk to folks around the state, Calera could well be the favorite in that region. So Demopolis could be playing essentially a de facto region championship team right off the bat next week. If they lose that one, they've got an uphill climb.
Well, it'll be fun to keep an eye on. Jeremy Smith, again, West Alabama Watchman, thank you so much for joining us. We'll look forward to your reports throughout the season.
Great, guys. You have a good one.
All right, thanks. Jeremy Smith joining us there on the Olivia's Cabinet Design Hotline. Olivia's Cabinet Design, the all-new division of Continental Roofing, now featuring an exclusive line of Wellborn cabinetry. Thomasville, team to watch there in 4A.
Certainly, and with 3 teams ahead of them in the rankings, they could be moving on up.
It'd be fun to watch. All right, we're going to step aside right now. We got to take a look at some 1A scores, and then we'll get to our AHSAA Spotlight segment. More about that coming up. Scores on the 4s right now.
Scores on the 4s.
Okay, moving into 1A, the rankings there. Brantley, number 1, they defeat Luverne 32-12. That was last night. Number 2, Maplesville 59, Billingsley nothing. Number 3, Linden 13, Washington County 39. Not a big deal though. Washington County is ranked number 3 in 2A. Number 4, Hubbartville 35, Holy Spirit 6. Number 5, R.A. Hubbard, they lose tonight to Hatton 18-13. Number 6, Lochapoka is shut out by Lafayette 35-0. Number 7, Cedar Bluff, they lose tonight 41-24 to Collinsville. Number 8, Valley Head also loses. They lose to Eider 30-14. Number 9, Raglan, they defeat Gaston 14-7. And number 10, A.L. Johnson also loses to West Blockton 31-22. So you want to talk about a lot of upsets in one poll. My goodness gracious, in 1A, it was more common to lose as a ranked team than it was to win.
Another example maybe of how difficult that job is in the preseason for the Alabama Sports Writers Association, handling those rankings, especially when you get these small schools that you don't get a chance to see a lot.
Exactly, and look, you're basing your rankings a lot on reputation more than anything. I mean, it's very hard to keep up with everything. Again, we talked about it at the first of the show. I like the rankings. It forces us to talk about football. That being said, these first couple of weeks especially, you're going to see a ton of upsets because there's no way in the world everybody can know about all these teams.
By week 5, we're going to have a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
Scores
exactly.
on the 4s is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. For locations, check out baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. For those of you who weren't with us last week, stay tuned. Really good interview with Ron Ingram from the AHSAA up next on the Spotlight segment. We'll be right back.
Advanced Heating and Air is East Central Alabama's certified train comfort specialist. That means the pros at Advanced make you the focus with superior service on all brands, 24-hour availability, and in most cases, same-day response. Advanced Heating and Air is exclusive with Train Heating and Air products that deliver the longest reliability and great energy efficiency with an amazing 0% 60-month financing package on all new Train products. The best service contacts in the region, and all pricing is upfront so you have no surprises. Advanced Heating and Air, where your comfort is our #1 concern.
Some people think Allstate only protects your car. Here's the truth. Allstate can also protect your home or apartment, as well as your boat, motorcycle, RV, and snowmobile, and even your retirement and your life. Not many insurance companies can say that, but Allstate can.
For more information about how to bundle and save, you can contact Bland Insurance Group either by phone at 256-392-9244, or you can visit us on Facebook or our website at blandinsuranceGroup.com.
General's Cafe in New Site is the area's #1 place for great food with great people. General's Cafe has only the best home-cooked food served hot and fresh and is sure to feed your appetite. General's has everything from the delicious fish plate to big juicy steaks. Come in every day for lunch and get the daily special, which will fill your belly and save you money. When you're looking for a good meal in a family-friendly atmosphere, then make the short drive out to General's Cafe on Highway 22 East in New Site.
Amtech is proud to be part of the Alexander City area. Amtech understands the importance of education, athletics, and teamwork. Support from friends, family, classmates, and faculty play a big part of success on the field. Amtech wishes the Wildcats best of luck this year, not only in the games, but in all of your academic achievements as well. Good luck, BRHS athletes, coaches, band members, cheerleaders, faculty, and students from Amtech.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
This gal wrote, "I am obsessed with Zaxby's yummy fried pickles. Is that wrong?" Well, Lisa Campbell changed her profile picture. Ma has a saying, "A fried pickle a day keeps the cravings away." She is a wise woman.
Those pickles ain't gonna pick themselves.
Mean as a hornet, though.
It's fried pickle season. Lightly breaded, fried to perfection, served with ranch dressing. Enjoy them before the crop's gone. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jeffcoat joined by Luke Robinson for our AHSAA Spotlight segment, where it's our first show of the season, Luke, and has become tradition over the last couple of years. AHSAA Communications Director Ron Ingram joins us now as we talk about a lot of different issues going on. Ron, we had the new 7A classification added this year, but this weekend, the 9th Annual Champions Challenge happening in Montgomery, Alabama. I know everybody's excited.
Well, you're right. It's a great time. We've got 3 really excellent contests going on Friday night. Carver of Montgomery and Opelika played. You know, they met in the semifinals a couple of years ago, and they met in the playoffs, I think, again last year. And then, of course, on Saturday, Dadeville is a tremendous football team, one of the winningest programs in 4A in the last, I'd say, 7-8 years. Under Coach Richard White, they'll be playing Piedmont, which is another one of our more successful smaller school, Class 3A, Piedmont. So that's at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Then in the last game, of course, is Spanish Fort, three-time state champion in the last 4 years in 5A, moving to 6A this year, playing Stanhope Elmore.
Ron, there's been a lot of moving around, of course, with the new classification being added in 7A. How has that been received so far throughout the AHSAA, having this new classification?
Well, people call it 7A, but it's really 7 classifications, Luke, and the key to all that is the fact that all of the 7A teams are playing nobody new, basically. They were every one of those teams were 6A last year, so that's the same grouping to some degree that they had last year, at least half of them, all of those 32 teams. But everybody else is getting grouped closer together in size of schools. Even the 7A is closer together because it took the top 32 schools. Then the other 32 schools were meshed in with the top group of 5A to create what I think the new Class 6A is really, really going to be an exciting classification. Benjamin Russell's in that group, Oxford, Southside of Gadsden. Well, there's some really great football teams that's going to be in there. Daphne, go down to Mobile, Spanish Fort, and Daphne are going to be there, so that's going to be tremendous. But if you go all the way down to the classification period, it grouped them a little bit closer together by size of school, which is really what we're wanting to do. And as far as being received, our member schools have really embraced it. Have heard very few negative comments. The only negative comment is, why am I in this region with these teams?
Ron, let me ask you about the move to 7 classifications in terms of timeline, because this is something that's been talked about for a while.
Right.
How long of a process was it to make that decision?
Well, it's been discussed ever since I came to work here in December of 2007, and Mr. Savarese had just become executive director a little earlier. It was already in discussions before he got here. Of course, the Central Board wanted to take a good look at it, and really for the last 6 or 7 years, they've had studied a 7-class situation. People were talking about doing it maybe just for football. That was what the general public was thinking. But Mr. Savarese was, very adamant, and so was the Central Board. If you do something for one sport, we're going to do it for all. And so you mentioned the timeline. Really, it's been in the making. It's probably 30 years, because the last time we had a classification change was 30 years ago when we went to 6 classes, and people. They had talked about the 6 classes, or 5 or 6, or more than 4. That started in 63, 64, and then the 2-class system started in in basketball only in 1950, 51, and prior to that it was the 1 division. So there's about every 20 years or so there's been a change, but this time it took 30 years. But there was also a good 6 or 7 years of real good discussion, really looking at all different opportunities and ways to do this. And I can tell you this office put in a lot of work just to get it on paper, so the Central Board can really see what the effect was going to have as a whole. Now, it's going to have a big impact in football because we're moving into it first, but it's going to have a major impact across the state, because you've got to realize that we're going to crown a champion in every sport that these 7A schools are now playing, and they pretty much are playing all of our sports. So there'll be another 22 state champions crowned this year, and then there'll be also, you take the football. Everybody's saying, how do you beat Hoover? How do you beat Hoover? Now there's a bunch of 6A schools that don't have to worry about Hoover. Use them as an example. That school has moved to 7A, but they're playing nobody that wouldn't have been playing it if they would have stayed 6A. So.
Hey, Ron, listen, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on the first show of this season. Best of luck throughout the season, and we thank you for joining us, okay?
Appreciate it. We're looking forward to the good year. It's going to be a great football season. We're looking forward to it.
That's Ron Ingram, Communications Director for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and this is the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show.
Scores on the 4s.
Okay, let's talk about the AHSAA rankings here. Number 1, Edgewood Academy, 56. Coosa Valley, nothing. Number 2, Restoration Academy, 38. Tuscaloosa, 31. Number 3, Bessemer Academy, 30. Number 5, Marengo, 13. Number 4, Monroe Academy, 35. Morgan, 7. Number 6, Wilcox Academy, 63. Russell Christian, 22. Number 7, Escambia County took on number 9, Autauga. We're waiting on a score there.
By the way, Luke, it's the one score in the top 10 in any classification that we cover that we don't have. So if you have the Autauga Academy, Escambia Academy score, please post it on our Facebook page at AHSAA Radio Network or AHSAA Scoreboard Show.
And number 10, Southern Choctaw Academy 34, Sumter 14.
All right, there's your scores on the fours there, and I know that we have a long list of random scores. I do want to look back over some of the bigger games tonight. We mentioned earlier Hoover taking on Colquitt County, Georgia, at Colquitt County, Georgia. And again, this is nothing against Hoover. Hoover started off with two of the top programs in the Southeast right now, but they're 0-2 for the first time in about 20 years. And the Auburn Tigers are 0-2 after a 3-point loss to Opelika tonight. So your two state championship combatants last year in Tuscaloosa in the old 6A classification are now 0-2.
They are, and of course Mountain Brook loses last night. That's a team a lot of people were very high on. They go down to Huntsville. Dadeville loses to Reeltown, a team that's two classifications below them.
Scores on the fours is brought to you by Baumhauer's Restaurants. Legendary food, legendary fun. For menu information or for locations, check them out at baumhauers.com. It's time now for your AHSAA Radio Network Player of the Week.
It's time for the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show Player of the Week. Each week, all season long, the AHSAA Radio Network honors outstanding performances on a gridiron.
Congratulations to the AHSAA Radio Network's Player of the Week, Tyler Johnston of Spanish Fort. The Spanish Fort junior quarterback Tyler Johnston threw for 353 yards and 5 touchdowns and ran for 101 yards as the Toros routed Stanhope Elmore 42-14 to win the Champions Challenge at the Crampton Bowl late Saturday night. The win helped the Toros extend their win streak to 25 games, which is the longest current streak in the state. Congratulations to Spanish Fort junior quarterback Tyler Johnston, the AHSAA Radio Network Player of the Week.
Congratulations to our Player of the Week and to all the athletes that keep us on the edge of our seats on Friday nights. It's the AHSAA Radio Network Player of the Week. You're listening to the AHSAA Radio Network.
Welcome back to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. Jeffcoat, Luke Robinson here for about 45 more seconds. Luke, impressions tonight? I think you and I both agree that we will likely see a new number one in 7A. Hoover will drop out of that slot.
Yeah, I think that's huge news. Buddy Anderson getting that 309th career wins, big news. To me, watching Keith Mixon run all over his competitor again is big news. That's a kid who's committed to Mississippi State. I hate seeing kids like Amir Abdullah from Homewood go to Nebraska, Derunya Wilson from Winona go to Mississippi State, and Keith Mixon's going to Mississippi State too. At least he is right now. That's going to be a kid that's going to come back and haunt Alabama and Auburn.
We appreciate you guys joining us tonight, and we'll do it again next Friday night at 10 p.m. all across the state, right here on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. For Luke Robinson, I'm Jay Jeffcoat. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show from the AHSAA Radio Network, powered by LMG. Brought to you by River Region Sports Fields, the Auburn Opelika Tourism Bureau, Olivia's Cabinet Design, a division of Continental Roofing, Russell Do It at Building Supply Centers, and by Baumhauer's Restaurant. Legendary food, legendary fun. Thanks for listening, and join us next Friday night at 10 p.m. for the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show. This is the AHSAA Radio Network.